All right, let's see if we're live. Yeah, I don't know. It might just be my internet is not happy right now. I think partially. We'll see if we can get through some stuff and whatnot. Let me mute this tab. Chat, are we here? Are we back? Let us know. It takes 5 minutes for my chat to load, apparently.
It looks like people are coming back in, so that's good.
Cool.
Let's have more.
Sorry about that. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. I mean, we just need to make it through like 1.5 stories. So,
at least, I guess the silver line is the last stream stopped at a time at a place where I think you're able to edit.
Yeah, I should be able to
splice them together. So,
neat. All right.
So let's just. All right. So I'll just continue reading the article from where I guess it stopped. So those of you who did not hear this last bit will be able to hear the last few paragraphs of this article. So anyway, 3, 2, 1. DNC Chair Ken Martin touted a resolution passed on April 9th that condemns the corrosive influence of dark money on Democratic primaries, but does not single out AIPAC or any other Pacific interest group. We have various resolutions that focus on different industries and groups, and instead of going one by one, we plaster blanket repudiation, Martin said on social media, adding that he supports an end to dark money in politics. No, you don't. Ryan Romick, President and CEO of Democratic Majority for Israel, applauded the DNC for rejecting a set of divisive anti-Israel resolutions. These measures would be a gift to Republicans, would further fracture our party, and do nothing to bring Israelis and Palestinians closer to peace, Romick said in a statement that did not mention AIPAC by name. However, Bendas said that Democrats face intense pressure from powerful lobbyists at AIPAC to take positions that do not align with their own voters. AIPAC is funded by Republican billionaire megadonors such as Miriam Allison and Paul Singer, and in 2024, the group was the largest source of GOP donations funneled into a Democratic election. AIPAC's $100 million in campaign spending in 2024 exceeded the spending of any organization in a single cycle in U.S. history. They are invested in defeating Democrats, and they are also flooding money into Democratic elections to support people who do not have voter support otherwise, Bendas said. And this is an existential risk for the Democratic Party if you are being propped up by the opposition. Bendas said there appears to be an intentional strategy among AIPAC and its megadonors to weaken and hollow out the Democratic Party as its voter base increasingly turns against Israel. Democrats chose genocide over winning in 2024, Bendas said. When does it stop? So I know you're going to say something, but I have a critique in this. I do not believe, I find it very hard to believe that AIPAC, and again, we've reported on this, it's not just limited to AIPAC. Like, it's J Street, like, there's all these other shadow organizations that are part of the Israeli lobby that are part of this too. AIPAC is just the biggest demon of would whore themselves out to do. So really, it's an effort on the politicians' part whether you wanted to give AIPAC or any other Israeli lobby money or not. So I don't believe that AIPAC is trying to get them weak. they don't need the help in doing so. I think it's just really, like just, being corrupt as hell, just wanting the money, and they're willing to do anything they want in order to get this money. So it's like, fuck my base. I'm going to follow Israel in spite of what the base is telling them otherwise. And like the gymnastics of some of them in order to kind of justify being pro-Israel, but then like trying to weasel out like, oh, but the Palestinians, we care about them too. And so, and it's all bullshit. Like, because at this point, like, what do you have to stand on in terms of defending what is happening in Gaza and the West Bank and then Iran, and as well as Lebanon and Syria? Like, so this is again just another example of Democrats being complicit with what the Republican Party is doing. And again, I just feel this has to be called out because, again, I'm going to hate the fact that people are going to justify, oh, we have to vote for these people because the other party is going to be way worse. Well, allegedly, the Democratic Party is supposed to be the party that knows better. So if you know better, do better. And especially given, again, it's like any progressive issue, universal healthcare. Overwhelming base wants universal healthcare. Democrats are like, nah. Like, same shit. So it's kind of like, but again, it's like, we have to vote for them because they're our only shot. They're telling you they don't want to do the policies. So why are we being forced or shamed to vote for them? And it's right now, it's like, oh, the left is like, they just demand too much. They ask for too much. And it's like, yeah, because we actually have principles. Like, the question is, does the party that you support, what are their principles? Like, so I don't know. It's just,
they have none.
It's just maddening. It's just like maddening that
constant hope that the Democrats are gonna fucking change what they do, and they're not. Like, even this article was like, oh, they if they're invested in, like, they're now trying to blame AIPAC for this fucking, like, yeah, there's plenty of problems with AIPAC, like, but to act like they're trying to tank the Democratic Party, no, they did it to themselves. They've been doing it for the last fucking decade and a half. Like, it's they're two sides of the same fucking oligarchic coin. Like, there's no difference. Like, they're going to continue doing whatever their donors are going to tell them. Like, this kabuki theater of all that shit. Like, this is what AIPAC's paying for. They're paying for fucking actors to, like, play the part. Yes. That's it.
Well,
there's nothing more than that.
Well, speaking of actors, so this went viral, I guess. I think this went viral on Monday. So just to show you how brazen AIPAC, well, again, they're the big players, but like to show how brazen there are, in terms of their corruption and their hold on the Democrat Party, they really
reconnection successful. I don't know. It's being fucky today, I guess.
Okay. Okay, I think it's all right now. Okay. Hopefully it will hold while you play the clip. But anyway, AIPAC brags that it is the top fundraiser for members of the Congressional Black Caucus. Oh boy. Hispanic Caucus, Asian Pacific American Caucus, Progressive Caucus, and Equality Caucus. AIPAC is the top fundraiser for Democrats. So hopefully this will hold while you play this. And you can just see the bullshit right here. Go ahead.
Well, I appreciate the relationship that I've had with AIPAC from the very beginning of my congressional journey.
The pro-Israel community fully embraced me.
AIPAC played a very important role in my political campaign. I think it really helped it take off.
Thank you to everyone and AIPAC for their deep and long-standing friendship. It means a lot to me.
You know, I just thought of something. I wish that these politicians would speak about their own constituents in the way that they talk about AIPAC.
Mm-hmm.
Like, thank you for the support you've given me, you know, my constituents, the people in my districts who have been riding with me. Like, God, this like, but you notice in this how they use the colors in order to send this propaganda, on the behalf of Israel. So, yeah, in these, like, we call that owned. Yeah, like owned, bought, and sold. But you know, so I'm done with this story really, because it's again just kind of short. But I did want to read this tweet, this delicious tweet. This was from @TerrellSocialist. I might ask you to do this as a clip, as a short, if at all possible. So if you're able, especially given probably how this segment is probably going to have to be fixed up. If we're going to use anything, we might as well use this. So I think, assuming his name is Terrell, I think he summarizes this very well in terms of who the Democrats really are. But he tweeted, "What Democrats are doing right now is telling people what they already know instead of telling them what they're going to do about it. Yes, we know the billionaire caste is exploiting workers. Yes, we know corporations are taking advantage of people. Yes, we know Donald Trump and Republicans figuring out the problem is not the same as fixing it. Where are the concrete policies? Where is the push for raising the minimum wage? Where is paid family and medical leave? Where are the real economic policies that materially improve people's lives? Right now, it feels like the strategy is name the enemy, stir emotions, and stop there. And that gives people the illusion that someone is fighting for them, when in reality, nothing is being clearly laid out about how their lives will actually get better." And couldn't have said it any better myself. I think we've said it in different ways, but I think this is the most concise way I feel this is being said. Like, Democrats right now are running on emotion and fear in terms of having people be so in despair that they will vote for them or potentially vote for them uncritically. But what I hope will happen, especially given this issue with Israel, is that people will think twice. Now, you're going to get people who are going to be like, oh, well, you have to vote for them because Trump, and then we're going to get the song and dance what we've heard from the previous elections, like, oh, we'll push them once we get them in. We just need to get Trump out and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, we've seen this time and time again. When has it ever worked that politicians is able to move to the left? Corporate money, period. Like Citizens United, period. Like, do you believe in taking any money from corporations? Because if you do, I'm not going to vote for you. And people can bitch and complain and like be like, oh, you're just a hater or whatever else. But it's like, it sucks that our electorate has become, as you said, so desperate that we're just willing to vote in the hope of achieving something. And it's like again, the Democrats haven't offered shit. Like, I keep saying, like, where's their version of Project 2025? Like, I haven't seen it. You have this among our colleagues who have this hope too, somewhat of being like, among our colleagues who have this hope too, somewhat of being like, if you vote for the right party, then everything will maybe fine. And it's like, no, like, we know better than this by now. So, I don't know. It's just, yeah, I'm just getting tired of people having this false hope in these people that are obviously, and again, there could be some individuals here and there within the party that might be doing good work, but as a whole, as a party, like, they're not doing anything to better yourself, and they're not offering anything right now to better yourself, and we're just going to be here and like, and this is the thing that people are not talking about necessarily. Like, Trump is on his way out. The question is, if Democrats continue doing what they're doing, who's going to come next? Like, that's the thing that we need to be worried about. Like, who's coming next after Trump? Like, and it's probably going to be some. I just feel like I hear my dad basically saying that this country deserves everything that's coming to it, and I agree, because not only because of our politicians, but I think a lot of it is on us too, because we allow these politicians to get away with it because we'll just vote for them uncritically, and it's just like, oh, we have to vote for them despite how you might feel otherwise, and then you're shamed if you take like the stance of a strong stance on something in terms of something that you may not agree with them. But I don't know. But as I said, I thought that tweet was perfect in terms of the warning that people should be having for Democrats. Well, basically anyone in government, in terms of how they try and gaslight you and try to make you vote like in terms of despair and having you worried about your life and all that kind of stuff, that you're not going to be like questioning like their motives. And I think that's ultimately my concern, is that people will kind of overlook their emotion, overlook their grounding in order to seemingly support people that they know is bad for them.
Yeah, I feel like I've had all these arguments like the last 4 elections and being shamed, and I'm like, I'm over it. I was like, whatever, think what you want. I don't give a shit at this point. I give a shit about the issues, but like, like I know they're like, the voting doesn't really do anything either. It's chosen by whoever. So, it's frustrating just to continue the rat race kabuki theater shit.
Right. But that's distraction though. And I think that's what I'm mad about. It's like they use the left as, oh, you're distracting us from, like, you can fill in the blank. You're distracting us from the incrementalism that we've been getting. And I'm like, first of all, like, look what the look what the Republican Party has able to achieve in less than 2 years. Like, you can't tell me that the Democrats can do anything similar on the good side in about that same time. Every time that they get into power, it's like, we will refuse to do the full thing that you want us to do. So we'll do this. And that's the kind of arrogance that I see among these people, that I think that's more or less it. It's their attitude of like this hoity-toity, like stuck up like assholes that think that they know better than the people who they claim to serve. So it's like, but again, it's the idea of, what's your plan? Like, and show us what you plan to do. And basically right now it's just kind of like,
yeah, they're not going to. Like, no. They're going to keep trying the same playbook. They have the last, like, that's their job. Their job is to do what they're told, and this is what they're being told to do. So, But
I know I'm going to make people mad, and you can come at me in the comments all you want. I don't care. Like, but, but I would recommend people, look, try that experiment. Like, some people are like, we don't need the left. Fine. Don't come to us to beg you to vote for your candidate. Leave us the fuck alone.
Mm-hmm.
But don't blame us when you get more of this incrementalism that doesn't do any radical change at all. And then you're going to get someone worse than Trump come 2032 or whatever, whenever, like whatever. And then we're going to just going to, the pendulum's just going to swing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's the pattern. Things get so bad one way, it swings the other way. Bad the other, and it never stops. So when you're going to get out of that cycle of abuse people, or when you realize that that's what the game is the idea that you're just swung back and forth on the emotion of despair, meanwhile these people are getting rich off of you. So, so the question is, when you're going to get off that pendulum and actually do whatever you can to, at minimum, wreck it. So, but talking about stories like these are why we are heavily pushed down in the algorithm. So that's why you probably will not see any of our clips at all, like featured on the YouTube page at all. So if you want supporters to possibly help with that, you can scan the QR code you see on your screen, or you can go to the Ko-fi link you see at the bottom of your screen. If you're in the YouTube chat and you're live, you can type in !donate and the Ko-fi link will pop up. You can also give on our other links on Patreon, Substack, PayPal, Substack, especially if you want to give monthly. Those links are always in the description. And as always, thanks for watching.
So, yeah, the internet's still, I don't know if it is the internet is the thing. It keeps it'll lose connection, immediately reconnect, then it's 5 for 5 minutes, then it loses connection, then it it's anyway. It's been a while since we've had losing connection problems, so it's probably
That's
just
me.
Usually it's you with the internet issues. I don't know, I probably need to reset the modem and whatever, but if we can just make it through this last story, I think we'll be all right. But it'll go quickly, hopefully. If we lose a stream or whatever, I might just finish up in recording or something, and weirdly enough, reconnection successful. Look at that. Weird, dude. All right. Well, let me try to get through our last story. So, Collin, you told me we talked about this, a year ago?
Last May.
Yeah, so we'll get to more in the specifics about what we covered a year ago, but NYU has decided that they're going to video record only commencement speeches, right? Mm-hmm. So to screen them for political views. But this article I found from the New York Post is awful, terrible. We're gonna eviscerate it, and it needs to. Ricky Schlott, shame on you, writing from the capitalist bootlicker perspective on this. And you're not the only one, so, but NYU has a terrible new solution to curb speakers getting political at commencement. They at least get that the free speech issue is here in this article,
Right.
So, but they write, for the class of 2026's big day, the school is having students pre-record their commencement addresses to prevent anyone from using the commencement podium as a platform for controversial political beliefs. A common occurrence at colleges around the country in recent years, speakers will sit quietly on the stage as their pre-taped remarks play on a screen. It's a sad reflection of how divisive campuses have become, and an ever sadder moment for free speech. Washington Square News, NYU student newspaper, reported that a senior set to deliver an address this year was reportedly told by a dean that her speech would be professionally recorded in an attempt to curate a, quote, respectful experience. Last May, NYU student Logan Rossos used his graduation speech as a completely inappropriate platform to condemn atrocities currently happening in Palestine and accused the United States of complicity in this genocide. I don't think it's an inappropriate platform, first and foremost. Seems like a perfect platform. You're literally what? Valedictorian? Like,
right.
You earned it. You earned the right to speak. Like, I think it's valid to get in a room of that many people to say something. No. Similar stunts have occurred at George Washington University, Harvard University, and MIT in recent years. In the end, NYU withheld Rozos's diploma and issued a statement saying he had misused his role to express personal and one-sided political views. In Collin's last segment, it didn't look very one-sided. It seemed pretty much one-sided in one direction. Here is his, like, a little clip from his speech that I found. So, just to remind people. But here, we'll play this.
As I search my heart today in addressing you all, my moral and political commitments guide me to say that the only thing that is appropriate to say in this time and to a group this large is a recognition of the atrocities currently happening in Palestine.
New York University says it is withholding the...
Now you hear that crowd?
Right.
What were they upset at the crowd of people he's talking to? Didn't seem upset at his viewpoint. I mean, raucous applause.
Diploma of graduating student Logan Rozos, who condemned the war in Gaza while delivering a graduation speech.
The genocide currently occurring is supported politically and militarily by the United States, is paid for by our tax dollars, and has been live streamed to our phones for the past 18 months.
In a statement, NYU strongly denounced the student's choice, saying, quote, "He lied about the speech he was going to deliver and violated the commitment he made to comply with our rules. The university is withholding his diploma while we pursue disciplinary action. NYU is deeply sorry that the audience was subjected to these remarks and that this moment was stolen by someone who abused a privilege that was conferred upon him."
I condemn
fucking whatever.
This genocide and complicity in this genocide.
CNN has reached out to Rozos and NYU for further details. CNN also reached out to the student government for comment on Rozos' speech.
So that's what he said. That's what happened to him. And now they're like, fuck that. No one gets the opportunity now. Like, we don't want anybody. They're going to have speakers that they pay. They're going to pay for speakers to show up. Right? I don't know if you heard about that, but anyway, back to this fucking. So this is the CNN, the New York Post article. Sorry. Understandably, they want to preempt a repeat performance this year, but does anyone really feel more respected because an administrator screened student speeches for offensive content? It's really not engaging for the families that paid thousands of dollars to see a staged faked video. Maddie van der Linden, the student who was asked to pre-record her speech, told the student paper, "We all know it's the political stuff." You know? Like, they know what's up.
So,
Go ahead.
I'm just wondering why then the students would decide to even bother.
Right.
Like, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Like, just do that quiet protest in that regard. Don't do a speech at all.
Smart. Just completely boycott it. BDS that shit. But a spokesperson for NYU emphasized that the university-wide commencement will still feature a live speaker and that new policy pertains to graduations held for individual schools with the universities such as Tisch and Stern. How much you want to bet that's going to be some fucking celebrity asshole that, like, went to NYU or whatever to show up and tell these kids, you know, whatever he's going to say.
But that's standard, though.
I know.
Standard. So, you know, so, like, Fun fact, I didn't even want to go to my graduation when I got my master's degree. I only went because my advisor at the time basically made me go. But she admitted it was basically like for the pomp and circumstance of it all. It's just this feel good moment. You're in your cap and gown. You get your degree. You're with your family. It's just supposed to be this fuzzy. When she spoke at Spelman this time last year, I believe, at school, this is what you should be experiencing out herself. She was like, it's funny how you get the praise about being the resistor after you leave, but not during or just shortly after you finish as a student. Like, you're not given that type of credibility yet. Whereas the idea of college and grad school is that you're meant to immerse yourself in those ideas and free thinking, that you're able to speak up and speak out against the atrocities that are around you. I figured, honestly, given that it's the age of Trump, that this should be a hell of a lot easier, honestly, but I guess not.
Yeah.
But
well, and guess why? Let's read this bottom paragraph here that multiple Jewish advocacy groups have expressed support for the policy. The ADL League told the Post that we applaud New York University for taking this bold step to ensure that
includes Jewish students
to increasingly unable to coexist with other students with differing backgrounds and opinions. What? Like, shut the fuck up. First of all, like, nobody is saying you can't support Palestine, but it's worth considering whether graduation at a school with a considerable Jewish population is really the appropriate setting to make that known. I think it's probably one of the better fucking, like, appropriate. Like, that's a good, tactically great choice. You're trying to reach people that are directly causing the problem, you know, or at least complicit in it. But I remember what the crowd sounded like. Still.
Well, even with that, it's like, whether you're Jewish or not, think of it this way. We're starting a war with their soon to be tax dollars that we didn't ask for, that potentially, and this hasn't been really reported, but they're potentially starting a draft come end of the year next year.
Right.
That's going to affect these students. So I don't think that any of them will want to fight, more or less die, especially the Jewish population, on behalf of Israel. So,
like, this fucking paragraph, the whole point of delivering a graduation speech is to speak for your fellow students as a representative of the collective. I think that's exactly what these motherfuckers have been doing. Like, they just don't like what the collective is saying.
Right.
Like, it's very simple.
Again, overwhelming majority of Democratic this on the hoodie. I actually tweeted about it, I think yesterday, but it said, revolutionary, a minister to the minority.
You can't even get that shit right. Higher education must emphasize civility as much as
conversations. Like,
traditions in respect, but they're still like being like, well, the tradition is still important and they probably shouldn't be censored. But like, here's all the things I hate about them, and it's like the fucking nonsense of like, you know, it's why like Kirk and them were fucking going back to like colleges and shit. Like Kirk and them were fucking going back to like colleges and shit. It's the same arguments they were fucking having. Oh, colleges don't want us to discuss things. Like, no, the discussion's been had. You lost. Like, fucking anyway, you know, that's the story I brought.
I just have to wonder if the writer was a Zionist herself, or at least on a liberal level. That
I don't know, more of that. The liberal Zionist sort of fucking you know, like we just have to civility and, you know, anyway. But talking about this stuff is why YouTube takes 30% of our money. So you could go to ko-fi.com/Indie News Network or scan the QR code on your screen to get around that system and leave us, you know, your full dollar amount. We appreciate it. You know, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Right.
Like maybe that's
Right, but I'm pretty sure like they'll be censored in their own way, especially ones who are anti-Zionist. So
if they were, but like I'm talking about, you know, the whole Zionist one of like, you know, they could voice their some of these clips, and you know, like it just, what's crazy is that it just immediately reconnects. So it's like clearly the connection isn't fucked, you know. Weird. I'll figure it out for next week, but I have no idea what's happening. It's up here somewhere. But, you know, good night, fam.
week, everyone.
There's a difference between peace and liberation, is there not?